I went band for band with my aunt, and she couldn't handle the heat. My parents are the type of people to believe that abuse is a form of love. So the second I graduated, I moved out. Didn't even wait for college to start. Just lived with my best friend. Her parents were abusive too, but they never hit her in front of me and obviously never lay a hand on me. So it was still a lot better than what I was used to. Until one day, when she finally made things official with her situationship. It's not like she abandoned me, but we went from seeing each other every day to just once a month. I spent Thanksgiving by myself, didn't even go home for Christmas, and tried to take on extra hours at work to distract myself from the unfillable void in the pit of my stomach. But on my 20th birthday, for the first time since I'd moved out as an adult, my family reached out to me, except it wasn't my parents. It was my aunt. Up until this point, I didn't know much about her, just that she had diagnosed bipolar disorder and had once attempted self-unalive before I was born. But this was all information from my mother, who effing hated my dad's side of the family, so I texted back, thanking her for reaching out. In response, she sent me 3 5-minute long voice messages on WhatsApp. She sounded very enthusiastic and asked if I wanted to come on holiday with her and my granny, both on my dad's side, to France. Well, I had never even been to Europe before, so this immediately perked my attention, and she insisted that she'd pay for everything, and all I had to do was show up. I still had my mom's old complaints in the back of my head about what they were like, so I told her I'd sleep on it and get back to her. After 3 weeks, I was pretty much leaning towards no, but then my granny texted me something that changed everything. It was a single, minute-long voice recording. Kate, I don't have much longer. If I had one dying wish, it would be for you to come on the trip. Now, to the untrained ear, this might actually sound wholesome, but my granny was only 65 years old, with no diseases and perfectly healthy. Immediately, an awful gut feeling washed over me, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was only 4 nights, and if it meant gaining some sort of family, then it was probably worth it. So I told my aunt I would go, and I was immediately hit with a wave of celebration. Even my dad, the entire reason I was scared of going home, texted me that it meant a lot to him. Fast forward to the trip. When the plane was about to land, butterflies filled my stomach because of how beautiful France looked. We spent the first day resting and re-energizing, and the next morning I woke up to shower. Suddenly, I was interrupted by the sound of my aunt screaming her head off. What the F? Your shower woke me up, you useless piece of shut. I sighed and turned off the shower, getting ready to leave the bathroom, except the bathroom lock wouldn't budge. Why did you lock it? Do you not trust us? You can't effing do anything by yourself. When I finally unlocked the door, I was faced with my aunt, who was completely red with anger. For the next 3 hours, she continued to scream about how ungrateful I was, how I deserved to unalive myself, and if I died, she wouldn't even bother showing up to my funeral just to teach me a lesson. I just kept responding with, okay, because that's what my dad always liked me to do when he screamed at me. Except for some reason, this made her even angrier, and she told me to shut the F up. On the bus to the beach, she even yelled at the parents of the children sitting beside us for laughing too loudly, and when they kept going, she threatened to shut them up herself. The whole time I was staring at our trip itinerary, trying to calculate how to spend as little time with my aunt as possible. But when we got to the beach, something flipped. Kate, I'm actually so happy you came. I'm sorry I can be a bit grumpy sometimes. I stared at the smile plastered on her face, waiting for the catch, but there wasn't one. I told her I forgave her and hoped for the best. But later that night, my aunt struck again. This time she screamed at me for being a failure, told me that I didn't deserve to get married, and that I was so ugly I should just accept that I'm going to die alone. Up until this point, I had spent the entire trip crying and smoking cigarettes in private just to cope, but I was sick of it. So I calmly walked over to the bathroom and grabbed a weighing scale. I put it down on the ground in front of us and stood on it. Looks like I'm around 95 pounds at 5'1". Your turn. You see, my aunt was quite overweight. I'd estimate she's around 250 pounds and the same height as me. In our response, her fist met my skull, but it was worth it. She booked me an early flight the next morning, and I hopped on that plane with a huge smile on my face. But when I got off the plane, I immediately noticed I had been spammed with dozens of texts and missed calls. The first voicemail was angry, telling me I was a disappointment to the family. The second was threatening. By the 10th, my granny was begging me not to press charges. Full story on the channel, link below.